Hi guys, first of all, Happy New Year. Hope you guys are having, we've only been 3 days into the new year, but I hope you're enjoying it so far. First things first. Yeah, don't worry, it's nothing fancy, it's Jack Daniels. Hey, snap. Don't worry, I will explain why I will be needing this. Lovely. Cheers, guys. Right, so I decided to make a video today because I recently sat down and watched the new Lilo and Stitch, the live action one. I completely understand. I'm very, very, very late to the party on this, but I was watching the animated one, the original one, with my friend yesterday, and I adore the animated one. It's one of my favorite Disney films ever. She loves it as well. So today I was just sitting around and I was flicking through Disney Plus and I was like, oh, I haven't seen the live action one yet. I'll give that one a go because that one was really successful at the box office. It made over $1 billion, I think, which gives Disney more clout to go, yay, let's make some more. That's going to be one of my New Year's resolutions for 2026. When I do videos, before I turn the camera on, I need to start making some notes because, when I hit record, I just babble. So that's what this is going to be. But hey, when it comes to Disney live action remakes, I'm not adding anything new to this discussion. But with a lot of the live action remakes, there's one word that seems very prevalent. Not for all of them, but for a lot of them. And that word is soulless. They just feel like there's no love, there's no passion, there's no kind of real yes, we're doing this because we love it. It's like, no, it's a cookie cutter machine of next, next, next. And it's literally just a money printing machine at this point. And that's a shame. Don't get me wrong, there have been some live action remakes which I have enjoyed. There's been Jungle Book, which I did, probably my favourite one. There was Aladdin, which I really enjoyed. Cinderella was not too bad, but I think specifically when they started doing stuff like The Lion King, which I'll be honest, I haven't seen, but from what I've heard people who have seen it, it's just a copy and paste of the original. And it's like, well, I'll just watch the original then. What's the point in doing a live action remake if you're just going to do beat for beat the same film? Anyway, Lilo and Stitch. I did not like this live action remake at all. Let's start with the things that I really did like. Stitch. I like the way they did Stitch. When I saw him in the trailer for this movie, I thought, okay, they're actually staying quite, relevant and actually staying quite accurate to the animation, where you think, yeah, he does actually look the same, and that's great. And Chris Sanders, who voiced him in the animated movie, voices him here too, and he does a really good job. Although, I will say this, little nitpick, they do use the same dialogue from the animated movie. And not just like, oh, they've just used the same one. No, they literally rip the same dialogue from the animated movie for Stitch and just use it again here, which I thought was a kind of lazy. But, nah, it's fine. And the little girl who plays Lilo, she is, God, I can't remember her name. But apparently this was her first movie. This is why I need to do research before I turn the camera on. But no, apparently this was her first movie, and she was really good. I mean, you actually believe the relationship between her and Stitch, and that's great. Yeah, in terms of positives, that's kind of where I end. I'm like, look, this, how I said a minute ago about how Lion King just copy and pastes, and that just makes a remake pointless? Well, this film does actually do a couple of things different. And spoilers, guys, complete spoilers. I'm going to spoil the movie. If you haven't seen it and you don't want spoilers, go off and watch the film and then come back. But if you don't care about spoilers, here we go. Sorry, I need another one because I'm about to go on a bit of a rant here. I'm sorry, I don't mean to dampen your guys' New Year's, but it's not one of these things where I think to myself, I don't plan these videos. I literally watch something and I go, I need to make a video about this, and I just do it. So yeah, here we go. So, what do they change in this movie that doesn't work? Well, quite a lot. I mean, firstly, the opening is very accurate of Stitch being brought in front of the Galactic Council, and then he gets captured, and then he escapes, and then he goes to Earth, which they kind of speed run through that. There was actually a point where they speed run through it so quickly. It's literally like, right, captured, in you go, always escape, bye, phew. And I was like, whoa. There's actually a point where I was like, is this movie going to go at this pace very quickly? Like, I was like, whoa, slow down, you know. And that's another thing. This movie is about half an hour longer than the animated one. I think the animated one was like an hour and 20 something, and this one's like an hour and 50 something. And you think, this means you're going to add 30 minutes of pointless padding for the sake of pointless padding. And that's basically what it is. So yeah, what did they change in this? Oh yes, for some reason in this one, you know how in the animated one, Cobra Bubbles is like a social worker, but he's also the CIA? For some reason in this one, they decide to make Cobra Bubbles and the social worker two different people. And I don't quite understand that. I get that, here's a little fun fact, Tia Carrera plays the social worker. And she was the voice of Nani in the original animated movie. There you go. Bit of trivia for you. But you guys probably figured that out well. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like a lot of it was very off. I mean, let's get to the real thing that they change in this, which changes the third act. There is no Captain Gantu in this. He's not in it at all. So you think to yourself, and I went into it knowing this, so I was like, okay, so how are they going to do the third act? That means the third act is completely changed. So what they do is they make Jumba the villain. You know, the mad scientist who created Stitch, and now he's trying to capture him and bring him back. Yeah, they make him the villain. Also, while we're on the subject of Jumba, Zach Galifianakis was horribly miscast as Jumba. I love Zach Galifianakis. When I see him in stuff like The Hangover, I think it was probably the first thing I saw him in. He's great. I think he's hilarious. I think he's a cool dude. But in this, it just didn't work. And the fact that, you know, as we've seen in the animated one, he goes on to become part of the family, and he goes on to become Uncle Jumba, and that's great. But to see him just go full-on villain and, like, just destroy the house for no fucking reason apart from just... He's just evil. I was just like, this just feels so off. And then you've got, I believe his name is Billy Magnuson as Pleakley, who was fine, but he wasn't anything. That was the thing with Jumbo and Pleakley in this one. There was no sort of real dynamic. It didn't feel like they kind of had any chemistry, or they didn't feel like they actually kind of gelled. Whereas in the animated one, they bickered, they kind of put up with each other, but they were entertaining, they were funny. And also, I've got to bring this up. So, you know how in the animated one, when they have to blend in and become humans, and they've got these shitty disguises, which is part of the joke? In this one, they just morph into being humans. They just morph into Zach Galifianakis and Billy Magnuson. Which, you know, I'm sure the argument was, oh, but if, you know, if you do that kind of same gag in live action, it doesn't work. I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't do the live action movie then. There's a reason why some animated movies should stay animated movies. And also, that was the gag in the animated one, was the fact that the disguises were shit. And they were terrible. But yeah, anyway, I'm just going on a bit of a... Yeah, why did they turn Jumbo into a villain? I'm sorry, that is not the Jumbo I know. He should have been Uncle Jumbo, as he was in the animated one. Why did they change it? What else? The relationship between Nani and Lilo. Listen, in the animated one, you really felt that sisterly relationship. Even though they were at each other's throats all the time and were shouting at each other and having a go at each other, they always kind of came together, and you really felt like they were sisters. And you really felt like Nani cared in the original. You really felt like, I mean, the montage in the original one where she's going around desperately trying to find a job, desperately trying to find a job to prove to the social worker that she is a responsible adult and she can look after her little sister. And you really felt like she really loved Lilo and really didn't want her taken away from her. Whereas in this one, it kind of felt like Lilo was not really not really an annoyance. That's the wrong word. It felt like she was more kind of just there, and Nani was just kind of looking after her because, oh well, I kind of have an obligation to look after her. Oh, and they add in this subplot about, you know, the fact of, oh, she wants to be a marine biologist and she wants to, you know, she's too smart to, you know, stick around here. She needs to go off to college or whatever and become a marine biologist, which is fine. I don't mind adding stuff like that. But then at the end, because what was the message in the original? Ohana. Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind. And at the end of the original, they all become a family. With Jumba, Pleakley, Stitch, Nani, Lilo, they all become really tight-knit family, and it's great, and it's really uplifting. Whereas in this one, it's like, Ohana means family, but also fuck you guys, because I'm going to go off and do whatever I want. Because apparently, at the end, Nani just leaves Lilo to stay with the neighbours, and she goes off to study marine biology. And I'm like, you've kind of destroyed the whole message of the film. She's like, yes, I really do love you, but also bye. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know, guys. There was so much about this movie that I just kept hearing the words cash grab, cash grab, cash grab. And it obviously worked because it made over $1 billion. But there was just so much about this movie that was like, why did you need to make this movie? There was no reason. This was one of the one. If there was any animated movie in the Disney catalog that did not need a live action remake, it was this one. But yeah, guys, the more I've sat on this film, and I've sat on this film for about 6 hours now, I've actually just gone, do you know what? Why did you do it, Disney? Could you just give us new stuff? Could you just make decent stuff? I mean, you did Zootopia 2 this year, and I really enjoyed that. That was great. But also on the side they've got, oh, but we're just going to remake every live action. We're just going to do, like, you know what I mean. Honestly, guys, Disney's one of those companies that just feels like it doesn't have the love and the passion. Well, I say that Zootopia 2 was great. That you felt the love and the passion behind that film. You felt like, yes, this is a great sequel. Actually, I preferred it to the first movie. But then you have this little subsection where they're doing all these live action remakes of their animated movies, and you think, but why? They don't need to happen. And well, considering that this one made $1 billion, you can always assume that, oh, maybe they'll do a Lilo and Stitch 2 live action. And you're like, why? I think that's all I've got to say on the movie. I think I've spoiled basically everything. But yeah, guys, I mean, let me put it this way. If you're a fan of the animated Lilo and Stitch movie and you're curious about this one, I honestly can't see you liking this unless you are up for those new directions where, oh, we're going to get rid of Captain Gantu, Jumbo's now the villain, and Ohana does mean family, but also fuck family because I'm going to go off and study and I'm just going to leave you with the neighbours. And it's like, okay, fine. Anyway, guys, sorry, it's me going on a bit of a rant, and honestly, to my our 16 subscribers, Jesus, on this stuff. To our 16 subscribers who have stuck around for this long, thank you so much. And we promise to be so much more active in 2026. Look forward to new videos coming out soon. We are going to ramp up our channel in 2026. So look forward to new videos very soon. And you guys are just the best. Thank you so much for sticking around. We love you. You're awesome.